Hello, 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 hello. Dave, good evening to you. It's your first Donna. Hi. Oh, no worries. Appreciate you being here. Michigan Daffodil, hello. Patty, Tinker's wife. Dishes before 8. Okay. Well, you can come and do mine too then. Oh, it's good to see everybody here. So, Patty, what are you having for dinner? Michigan Daffodil had grilled burger, fries, and dark sweet cherries. Oh, I love cherries. Ever since I was a kid, I loved cherries. The Bing cherries, I was like, oh my goodness. So, Dave, you're having tacos. Wonderful. I don't know what I'm going to have yet. I got home from running errands all day, so it was probably 3 o'clock, something like that, 3:30. And then I get in the door, it's like I don't even have time to even put things away, groceries and stuff. And I'm like, there's this problem and that problem, and I've got 2 websites down, and there's this, this like da, 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 da. I'm like, okay, what's going on? It's Monday. It's not even like a Friday the 13th or anything like that. So it's like, I don't know. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So yes, we have sunshine outside. So having hot dogs, green beans. Oh, I'm sorry that you're not feeling that well. Tacos sounds good. What do I have in the fridge? The only thing I bought in the way of actual food, fresh food anyway, were strawberries and raspberries. So everything else was like, oh, paper goods and all that kind of the other stuff that you need. And yeah, so it was all different. So hey, Karen's Garden. So I'm trying to remember who it was that won the so Donna, I know that you won the tags, and I'm going to send those out this week to you. Sorry, I just last week was crazy, didn't get to it, but I haven't heard from the person who won the Velcro straps, and so I'm just wondering um, if you guys remember who that was. So anyway, Karen, it wasn't you, right? So I don't remember. It was somebody who's not on here very often. So I still had to laugh at Judy getting on, and she just comes in and she wins the book. So anyway, I got that to her this last week. She was Thursday night, Thursday evening. I was on a Zoom, and there's this cell that comes through of weather, and it had been nice and kind of like what it is right now, and all of a sudden it gets dark and the cell comes through, it starts getting windy. For about maybe not even 10 minutes, more like 8 minutes, we had rain and wind, 50-mile-an-hour winds, and it's just pouring rain, and then the hail came. I had like quarter-size hail probably, and it was just beating against the house. My office here is in the northeast corner of my house, and it was hitting the north side and the east side at the same time, just and it was just pelting. And I'm on the Zoom talking with somebody in Costa Rica, and I'm like, no, it's like my garden is getting pulverized and I can't go out there and protect it because I'm on this Zoom. And it was just like, no. Oh my goodness. So anyway, it was an hour before I could get out there and look at it. So anyway, the beans have a few holes in some of the leaves and everything, but overall they look pretty good. I think they're going to survive okay. The onions, the bigger ones that were in the ground, it depends on, I'll just have to wait to see if they're going to be like bruised spots that are going to go bad down the road or something, if there was any damage from those. The zucchini plants look pretty good. I didn't really see any ripping from that. Their leaves must be tougher, I guess. Um, the My peppers, I only have 3 pepper plants, but they're all purple peppers, and they're all blossoming and getting little peppers and doing all this, and it pretty much shredded the top leaves of them, the bigger leaves. So, but the rest of the plant looks healthy, so I'm hoping that it's gonna rebound and come back okay. But poor Judy, my friend who won the garden planter book, she and her husband were on a Thursday night. They were on a trip, a short trip of some sort, and her kids live nearby her, and they sent her pictures. I wonder if I can. So where I'm at, she's only like 8 miles east of me. So we got like quarter size hail. They got baseball size hail. And at least, so I have a picture here that are sunset. And this was 1 hour after, I don't know if you can see that here. It was 1 hour, and that's a man's hand. So it was 1 hour after the hail came down, and it was still that big. So it was like totally decimated her tomatoes. They're gone. I mean, she came back and she was like, no. And they had siding damage. And as I was driving through that area, anybody who had metal roof on their houses or garages or whatever, a metal roof, it was all dinged and pinged, and I mean, it just dimpled all over the place. It was a nasty storm that just came through real quick and moved fast. It was powerful. Like I said, it grew from where I was at. It just kind of like blossomed, and it was just intense. And but so the hail. So again, we're talking about gardening and those times that you get discouraged with the garden, and weather is one of them. It comes in. So, hey, Bonnie, I'm glad that your zucchini's growing. That's good. So, you did get hail. She got hail that day. Okay, so you got rain. Oh, Dave, you guys, it's a miracle if anything is growing up there. Just the amount of rain and lack of sun, all that good stuff. So, Kiri, hello, welcome. Michigan is so dry for so long. Now you're getting a bit too much rain. I know, it's either like feast or famine, right? Yes, and you guys, I just got a new windshield in my car 2 weeks ago, and my car was parked underneath a tree, so I figured I was okay. But I mean, because normally when hail comes down in a normal type of storm, it's just kind of like that plink, 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 plink. This was just like, it was like just out of a cannon. It was just, I mean, it was like so intense, so intense. And so I thought the hood of my car had probably gone. So there's like little, probably pinpoint chips in and stuff like that. I didn't see any dimpling or denting or anything. But yesterday I was driving, and you can only see it when the sun is at a certain angle through the windshield, and you could see where all the little microchips are, in the way that when the hail came down, it's just these little itty bitty chips. You normally can't see them, but when the sun hits at a certain time, you can see it's like a star field. And I'm like, a brand new windshield. Yes, I did get that one through insurance claim, but this one, I was like, how do you make a claim 2 weeks after the other one? I mean, that's just like, they're going to really wonder. I'm like, oh my goodness sakes. Yes, car windows, everything. It was just, they got 1/2 inch hail in Anoka. Okay, I know. all that work gone. And Judy puts so much work into her garden. She's out there every day for hours and just, oh, and it was one of those where the weather forecast was sunny, sunny, sunny. It's like, and then this rogue front just comes through, and it was just crazy. Um, we do, Vonnie, we do get hit up here. So you got 3 inches of rain yesterday, flash flood. Oh my goodness, that is, yeah, just some exciting weather. It's like, if you kind of look at it that way, like, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't control it. You just have to kind of like go with it and deal with it. But hail over 5 inches. Oh my goodness, that's huge. That's like bigger than softball size, pretty much. I think a softball is what, 4.5 inches. So yeah, that would be bigger than that. Um, so you rated your siding. Your old siding was tough. Now the vinyl. Yep. They just build everything cheap these days, and it's like, it's so. I'll have to get on my soapbox again about the quality of things these days. But yeah, siding, and it's like the whole area in the two towns east of me. Um, about was it 3 years ago? In 2019, there was a bad Labor Day storm, and I got caught in that. Believe me, it was just like, it was bad. And I had a lot of damage done to my car. So I was on the road with the hail coming down. I don't know if any of you guys remember that, but Labor Day 2019, and like I said, the towns just to the east of me, around where Judy lives too. It's like every single person had roof damage, siding damage, car damage, and a lot of them had windows broken out of their homes from the hail. It wasn't just like car windshields. The houses, the windows in their houses were broken because the hail hit. I mean, that's going to come sideways. And it's like, it's crazy, but so much damage. I mean, every house. So, you know, some of them just got their houses finished, because everybody's got new siding, new roofs, and everything. So the towns look nice, but it was like, oh my goodness. I don't think it doesn't look like it was dented this time. It looks like there were um, just little teeny, like pinpoint chips possibly out of it. So I don't know. Um, again, I was so happy to finally get a windshield that was, um, that was good, because it had cracked because it found out that somebody had used one of those access tools, a punch tool type thing on my windshield. And so I don't know when it happened exactly. It was sometime in March. And so that's when it started cracking. And then last month it cracked a lot further. And so the crack was about 2 feet long. I was like, I've got to get this changed. So they came out and did it right in my driveway. It took like half an hour. So I thought it was crazy. You had no idea they had those flash floods in Vermont. I know. He got 21,000. Oh, it's so nice. I wasn't able to get on yesterday, because by the time I got home from church, he was done with that. But I was on a couple times on Saturday. And the last time I was on, he was up to over 7,000. So that is awesome that he did that. Oh, Kiri, I don't know. I just couldn't handle that heat. I really couldn't. Very, very dry. Very, very dry. Still had your old siding in that storm. Yeah, the old stuff where it could take it. Because like you said, it was steel siding. It was steel. It was not, even steel roofs now are just not holding up the way they need to. But when the hail comes down at 200 miles an hour or something, there's not much that's going to withstand that. Is It's crazy. Um, Western. Oh wow. So so you're more in central New Hampshire or eastern New Hampshire, and then where are Lumnas? Then are they in western New Hampshire? Hey, Eliza, how are you doing? Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I know how it is when you try to get on and nobody's there or very few people, and it's like just trying to give you some encouragement there. So, how are the piggies? He's central New Hampshire. You're in the southeast. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Um, yeah, stuff is coming along. I Do any of you follow Lumna Acres and Simple Living Alaska? So I've been following the two of them for like 4 years or something, and maybe longer. I don't know, but it's so funny that okay, they're both northern climates and everything, and watched Al and Gina. They've just finished putting in their second um, in heat slab, a concrete slab for another building, and watching all of the materials he uses and different things. So I'm like gaining all this kind of knowledge and different things. Hey, Bex. And yes, we're enjoying some cooler weather. It's 70 right now and the northwest breeze. So it's kind of nice, kind of nice. Um, so anyway, yeah, putting all that in the green foam that they put down, and he explained how it combines so many different things. And then watching Eric and Ariel up in Alaska putting in a slab too for a workshop, and they're doing a different way, and so all of the different layers and the different things and what they've come up, had to deal with that. What Al and Gina are using is like, I so understand why they're doing that, because of the difference in the work amount and all the layers and trying to get that set and trying to do this, and it's like, oh my goodness, so much easier. So um yeah, Patty, they do so many projects. It's I think they put 3 videos out a week, I think it is. So yeah, kind of look forward to it. So that is true. Building products have come such a long way. And but it really gives me great ideas. So if I ever have to put in a cement slab, or in of any sort, or I can just like, I've got some good ideas anyway. I It's like, okay, this works well. In watching what each person is going through, and observing that, and it's like in the costs and the time and the different things like that, and it's like it gives you a lot of good ideas, and I think just it's so great. um yeah, I catch them too, Grandma Bonnie. So it's like, I know, just the two of them, and I'm like, okay, so they built their last home and homestead, and now they're doing this one, and apparently they built the one before that too, which I don't think they were videoing at that point in time, but so they've got some good experience in building homes at this point. So it's like, it's pretty amazing, pretty industrious of them to do. So I know, right, Patty? It's like, oh, okay. So, um, I wasn't quite sure what to even talk about tonight, because I was like, oh, but I was talking to a friend earlier today, and he and his daughter were, just starting to get into gardening this year, just so excited, and they've been probably over fertilizing, but he mixed all his own soil, with worm castings, of permalite, just all the compost and just everything in there to just try to do everything organic and growing this and putting this in and doing everything they're supposed to do. And then there were some things that almost died. And it was just like, the excitement, especially for a first time gardener. And I know that we've all been there and all experienced that. So, also, I don't see Alicia on. She wasn't on last week either. And so I'm hoping that she's okay because she never misses. So, didn't know if anybody has heard from her. So, anyway, hey, Joy, how are you? Huge storm here on Friday. You're lucky. Still without power. Okay. I wonder if that's the one that went through through me for Thursday night. It could be. Al did a building for a job before their farm. Okay. Thanks, Joy. Appreciate that. Yeah. So anyway, it's like he was like, oh, I failed. We failed at this. We failed this thing. No, it's like, I know people think that when they say, well, this failed, that they feel like they're a failure. And it's like, no, 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 no. There's a grave difference. It's like when things don't work out and a crop fails or something happens, it's like you've figured out what not to do, or you've learned what doesn't work, and that kind of thing. So, always look at it as a learning process. You might not get what you want and different things like that. Exactly. Successes are built on lessons learned through failures. Beautifully said. Beautifully said, Patty. So they call around this time, July, August, when we've had everything in the ground and things are growing, but now we've had to deal with heat, with storms, hail, wind, different things, insects, pests, all kinds of stuff. So it could be drought, could be flooding, could be, all this kind of stuff. So, hey, Donna, all these things. So they said that, especially if you've spent years maybe planning or just growing or whatever, and you've poured countless hours into the gardening, and in the middle of the harvest season, because things are starting to come, people are starting to harvest, and it's like all of a sudden you question it all. It's like, and so July, August is a time when people get what they call the gardening blues. And you've decided to let the goats clean up your garden, but first moving potted plants, some plants, and feed sacks. Okay. Can you imagine what the back to the land movement would have been like if we had YouTube? So true, so true. So some of the things that are happening is possibly happening for you are like weeds have grown out of control. Because especially if you get a lot of rain, if you get all that rain and humidity, things are just like exploding and you just can't keep up with it. The time that you need out of, out in the garden, you just don't have that or whatever. And it's like, the pests maybe seem uncontrollable. All of a sudden you've got an influx of Japanese beetles or cabbage moths and cabbage worms or tomato hornworms or just something, squash bugs. It's like no matter what you do, they just come in and they devour everything and they kill your plants, and just like, what? You get a squash vine borers, you get just all these different things. And then all of a sudden, okay, so you maybe make it through the pests, but then you start getting diseases. All of a sudden you have tomato blight or, different things that are happening, a powdery mildew. There's just all kinds of different things that you're like, I did everything. How could this happen? And Yeah, like, yeah, yeah. And again, the weather could have decimated your garden. Like my poor friend Judy, it's just like her tomatoes just, and she counts on those tomatoes. I mean, she puts cans, puts up jars of it, and she sent me a picture. I didn't keep it, but it just her rows of just they're just flattened down there, and it's like, oh, and deer, yep, absolutely. Um, and then you look at it, you're going, my garden doesn't look like the ones in the magazines or in the videos and everything. And it's like you see these pictures of how beautiful they are, and it's like my garden doesn't look like that. It looks like a mess. There's weeds all over. I have to dig through those to find my tomatoes or whatever it is. And it's like all these things that could just get you discouraged. And the thing is, you just have to trudge through that discouragement. And yes, it's natural and it's normal to feel that way. But just trudge through it. Just like some of the things to keep in mind is that you've learned which pests and diseases you need to study more. So it's like all of a sudden, because it can change from year to year according to the weather, according to where things are moving through your state or whatever that haven't been there before. Um, high humidity, low humidity. I mean, it's just different things that you have to deal with. So you experience that and you just through the winter months study it, straight figure out what you can do, what you can have to um, learn about and everything, and what you can do to help prevent that in the future, whether it's putting road covers on or just different things that you might need to do. So anyway, it gives you an opportunity to study and to learn. um, Also, try to keep an open mind to what your gardening future will hold. So don't just, I mean, we know that when 2020 came along, um, everybody and their brother and sister were out there. It's like, I've got to grow a garden because we don't have food, or whatever. So gardening just exploded around everywhere. But then the following year, there were, a good percentage of them just gave up. It was like, this is hard work. This is too hard. This didn't work out and that didn't work out. So they all kind of gave up, and so um, it's just it's like, okay, my garden might look different next year. My garden might, I might just have to try again because we had a storm come through and it knocked everything down. I don't have corn anymore, but that shouldn't keep you from trying to grow corn again, that type of thing. So just to keep an open mind for what the future will hold. And then each year, disappointments will end up being fewer, and you'll find the strength to keep going because you've learned, you tried to figure some things out. As a gardener, that there are things beyond your control. And so you put in, 150% of what you actually need, because you might end up getting 60% out of that, so because you never know what you have to end up pulling. So, I mean, there are years I've had to pull and destroy all my green beans because there's a blight that comes in or something. And, I don't get any produce out of it. So, um, so much has died in this heat. The weeds are crazy. You're cutting down sunflowers. Oh, Kiri, you can only do what you can do, honey. It's like until you heal and get well, and um, you're blessed to have a longer season, so you can still put something in even through the winter or something. And just, although I know you guys get ice and freezing too, so, but it's not winters like I have. So, you know, yep, dear, you discovered you have a cucumber beetles here. You're glad you don't have a garden right now. Okay. You get a little disappointed when you see new homesteads acting as if they discovered growing their own food and chickens. Oh, yep. It's like, wow, this is happening. I can grow my own food. It's like, yeah, they've been doing that for like 7,000 years. It's like, how do you think everybody's eaten all this time, right? Oh, um, weather is hard with the drought. Yeah, absolutely. Rabbits are crazy this year. Yes, they are. Um, Garden State gardener broke his Achilles heel last summer. Couldn't garden this summer. You broke your wrist. Oh, exactly. Stuff happens. It really does. Um, yeah, it's was a good thing to try. It was not for them. Yeah, not everyone's a gardener. It's so true, Dave. So true. Um, yeah, you can want it, but and that's why we have grocery stores because not everybody's a gardener, right? Um, oh, yeah, it is crazy. Donna, your garden will be more raised beds getting older, trying to talk hubby into getting a golf cart so it's not too far to walk. There you go. You're planning for raised beds soon? Yay! Raised beds are great. I love them. They take a lot of dirt to fill in, but it's all good. Yeah, if you can get a good layer of branches and hay and everything on the bottom and stuff, and even leaves and stuff to fill in at least half of the bed, and then get some soil and compost in there and mix it all in. So it um, uh, one year your tomatoes did so bad, you bought organic tomatoes and canned them and helped give you. Well, that's exactly. Um, who was saying that? Was it Tangi? Freedom Homestead? I don't know. There were a couple different people that said, there's a farmer's market or there's an Amish market, down the road or something. It's like my stuff just isn't growing things, and I'm not going to get discouraged about it. I'm just going to go there and buy up 20 pounds of this or whatever and process it and put it through. And it's like, you know what? Sometimes that's just what you have to do. Um, there were years, okay. Doing okay, but have crazy challenges, battles, and so yeah. I know, Patty. I'm so glad that you're here, though. We all understand. There were years because of physical stuff I had to give up gardening. Yeah. Oh, Bonnie, thank you. I'm so glad. I know there are times when spring comes around that I just don't even feel like putting in a garden. I mean, you look at the seeds in the winter and you go, oh, it'll be so nice. But when that time actually comes, it's like, I'm just so not ready. But once it's in, it feels good. Once it's in, it's there. But Joy, you recall both your grands thought their huge veggie gardens and rows of home canned goods were nothing to even mention because it was what everybody had to do. It was all the stuff they needed to put up to feed their families, and um, I'm sure they um, shared recipes and shared, what was going on, especially if there were weather, diseases, or pests or different things like that, and figured out how to take care of them. Um, my mom gardened, a little bit. I mean, she would have, an 8 by 10 plot or something like that. So it was not that much, but enough that she could. She was busy with 6 little kids, so um, she would put up some things once in a while, and but I never remember her talking about insects and things getting destroyed the way we have had to deal with things. And so it's interesting. And that might be more the challenge of the times too right now. We've had a lot of things come in from other countries and other areas of the countries that have been harmful to our growing seasons, our environment and everything. So, um, you know, who knows? And like with all of the smoke, I'm trying to see. It looks like it's hazy out there again right now, but we've had some really like Friday. Was it Friday? I think it was a really bad smoky day here. It was Eliza. Was that when you were on your live? Was it Friday? I'm trying to remember, but it was one day. It was. I tried to be out. I was tree trimming all this last week, trees and bushes. So get out there with my saws and my hedge clippers and everything, and so I got pretty worn out with that. But on those days, it was like the air quality was so bad from the fires, that I could only work for like 20 minutes outside, and I had to come back in and wait it out for an hour or more, and then go back outside for a little bit. And so it was crazy. So those are some other things that affect our plants too, is the smoke from the wildfires, and the haze, because the sun can't get through. Um, the oxygen is not as good in there, so it is affecting the plants as well as us being able to get out in the garden and work. So um, the dirt is the main sticking point when you make it work. Okay. Yeah, you've got a lot of nice wooded area, Dave. All you have to do is get your tractor out there in the back somewhere and just dig some up, and it'll fill in somewhere else. Right, Vonnie? I know it does give you the ability to garden again. If I didn't have my raised beds, if I was still doing totally in-ground gardening, I don't think I'd be doing it at all right now. It's too hard on the body. It was okay for my 30-year-old self and not my 65-year-old self. Um, if you do the hugelkultur method, it really saves on soil. Yep. You've got 8 20-foot beds. Those are your raised beds, Dave? The 20-foot raised beds? If they are, how are they going to, like 3 feet wide, 4 feet wide? Luckily, you know a guy with a sawmill, so the beds. Oh, the dirt is a challenge. Okay. Donna, I'm not sure what you're saying about why is that. Uh, Garden pushes you outside when you're discouraged. Yeah, it does. And there's some days where it's just like, even for, I'll bring a little stool out there, sit there, and I'll weed my beds. And it's like, it's actually fun and a pleasure to just pull some little weeds out of my raised bed, because first of all, it's not an overwhelming task. And secondly, I can just be out there in the fresh air and the sun and just the breeze, and just be doing a little bit. And the little bit that I'm doing is making a huge difference. So that's been really nice. Um, Today's the first day you say, oh, wow, okay. Saturday was really pretty nice here. So we had, I think, good breeze come through and take care of a lot of that stuff. Um, yeah, tree trimming is a lot of work. It is. Oh, that's good, Kiri. I'm so glad you got some people helping you out there. Plants will go into a type of stasis if smoke is thick enough. Bean leaves are damaged by it, but I didn't see other damage 2 years ago in Portland. When you have wildfire smoke blanketing yesterday's. Okay. So the beans end up being the hardest hit. Interesting. Your current rows, they're 36 wide, 20. Wow. Oh, your current rows. Okay. So I thought maybe you were building your raised beds that big. So are you building your raised beds in a new area, or are they going to take the place of your current rows? That's a question there. You said long ago they didn't have the garden bugs like they do now. Oh, yeah. Yep. I know. I mean, but they still had, like grasshoppers and things come in and devour every green thing. Um, they had, just wiped out everything. So they would have that kind of thing go on, at least in our region. South Dakota was really bad for that. Southern Minnesota, um, that the grasshoppers would just come in swarms for like, I don't know, what was it? I just remember reading about it like in Laura Ingalls Wilder, but um, I don't know if they would just last for a few hours or if it would be a few days. Some of you have to jog my memory, but yeah, they'd come through and just be everywhere. I mean, even if you locked yourself in the house, they would just be getting into everything. But they would eat all the leaves off the trees. They'd eat everything out of the garden. They would just devour everything, all the crops, the grass, everything. And then they would move on. So it would just be like, just this swarm, just they just be mowing right through. So, um, gardening can change the mood. Yeah. You had 5 4 by 20-foot beds. I love them, 18 inches deep. Yes, you have beautiful beds at your other house. That was so great. You could add raised beds, add perimeter of the garden first. Oh, very cool. Be fun to see how. I mean, that's another thing that can make your gardening exciting again, is to just do something like that that's a little transformative, um, in the way of, you know, even if like if raised beds, I need to get out and put another coating of um, timber oil on them and stuff like that. So I need to freshen them up. And so just getting out there, spending, a half a day, just an afternoon or something, just painting the beds again, staining them or whatever. And it's like, it just makes everything look fresh again. And it's like, ooh, gets exciting. Or um, putting a fence around it, giving a new gate, or, just doing something a little different that's out there. Maybe um, designating a certain bed to just strawberries. It's like, okay, I'm going to buy some strawberry plants and just fill it in there, and it's just going to go. So, that would be, yes, that grasshopper disaster. That was really bad. Um, so anyway, those are the things that we deal with. It can be very discouraging, but some things that to try to keep in mind, just some encouraging words, again, is feeling overwhelmed with your garden is normal. It's normal. First of all, we have such high expectations when we go into the spring, right? We and it doesn't matter how long you've gardened. You can garden, 5 years or 50 years. And it's like you go in, it's like, okay, this year it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great. It's going to be large. It's going to produce. I'm going to have all these beautiful things. And all of a sudden, all this stuff starts happening. And it's like, it's just start feeling overwhelmed. Um, some things to do is to work through the exhaustion and discouragement. It will get better. It will get better. Um, is strawberries you're 100% building raised big? Yes, and covered. I know that's going to be so good. That'll be a game changer for you because you've been fighting the strawberry thing for too long now, Dave. Yeah, exactly. They're wiping you out, and you need to own that in the way of just like, these are my strawberries. You will not have them. Right? It's like, these are mine. And it's like, that's the way I feel when it's like, go away. You should stay out of here. You will not eat these. um, grew Brussels sprouts in the pots and it did really good. Nice. Look forward to strawberries next. Yay. Okay. Even if, like I said, if you just get a couple container pots or something and just put something new in there, to make it just fun and exciting. Even if they are flowers that you put in, among your garden or something. It just pops of color or different things like that. So anyway, as far as the feeling overwhelmed and the exhaustion, like the weeding never ends, or it's just continuing to slog through the mud that's out there, or whatever. It will get better. If it's too hot to be in the garden, poor Kiri, oh, you poor thing. If you're able, and I know you can't right now, but to go out early in the morning or go in the evening when it's cooler for most necessary tasks, like if you need to just for watering or for harvesting or something like that. If you have to be out there, do it in the morning or the evening. Um, it's also more peaceful and it's comfortable. So you want to try to optimize the time so you can be enjoying it, right? Waiting for all the runners, you'll pot them up so you can tear out the whole bed, have new babies to replant. You garden at twilight, very good. The deer see a garden and a sign. Oh, have you guys heard that recording of this young woman who she called the police? I think she called the FBI. Then she called a radio station because she wasn't getting any help from any of these other stations. But it's like, she's like, I have hit 3 deer. I've hit 3 deer. It's like, and they she's like, and she was dead serious. You have to take down these deer crossing signs because they see it and they cross right there. And it's like, if you didn't have those signs up, they wouldn't be crossing there. So you need to get those signs taken down because I've hit them 3 times. It's like, sorry for anybody out there, but she's blonde. She admitted. So anyway, it was hilarious to listen to that. I mean, it went on for like 10 minutes and it was just like, and he's like, the deer crossing signs are not for the deer, they're for the drivers. They're, oh no, 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 no. It's they know those signs there. They read they're crossing it. It's just like, oh my goodness. This is a few years ago. I was reading about this, or listening to it. It was crazy. Use feed sacks as grow bags. Okay. You love mornings. You used to go out when it's just light enough to work. Yes. It's so quiet too, isn't it then? Um, this is no, it's not a spend and only story. It's a real story. This young one, she must have been 20, 22, something like that. But just like, what was that meme that I saw? I gotta show you guys this one. It's just too funny. See if I think I saved it. Oh yeah. Eh, have you ever listened to some folks for a minute and thought their cornbread ain't done in the middle? Have you ever listened to folks that thought their cornbread ain't done in the middle? It's like, yeah, you know, I know it's not good. That was a good one. Trespassers will be compost. Joy, that's great. I love that. That's good. Oh my gosh, that's great. Trespassers will be sausage. Yep. Oh, if you grow grapes and berries in large pots, can they be left out during the winter? I don't think they will survive. Um, my strawberries that I put in the green stock don't survive through winter, even in the shed. So they will survive in all of the dirt that's in my raised bed, but not in a container. So I know, isn't that good? It looked like the crew from Andy Griffith. So it's pretty fun. So okay, some other encouraging things: that failures are the best learning opportunities. Again, you learn what works and what doesn't. You learn how to do it better next year. You can maybe get better seed varieties or growing practices for your area. So those are the things we learn when something doesn't work. And to just like, okay, after that initial discouragement and everything, it's there, but then it's like, okay, what can I do that will improve that situation? Also, to accept that every year presents its own challenges. As we know, I mean, it's just like every year is different. It can be weather, from it could be a hot, hot summer, it could be cold summer, it can be a dry summer, it can be a super wet summer. I mean, the weather, and then of course hail and wind damage and all this kind of stuff it's amazing we can actually grow anything anyway, as you look at all of that, right? um then life situations, if there's things that just call you because of family needs or different things like that, that you just can't get out there and do it. You just have to accept that and just be okay with it. Same thing with diseases and pests and everything. It's like, okay, it's discouraging, yes, but to know that that challenge is going to be there and it's normal. It's going to, you just got to deal with it. And to keep in mind, it's never going to be perfect. Like I said before, it's never going to look like a magazine image or a video garden or something. That's not reality. We want to just make it fun. There should be an element of joy getting out into the garden, right? And to be dealing with all that. Um, Something else that can really help is to remember your greatest success, whatever it was. Maybe it was your first yield, the very first tomato you got out of the garden, or the first apple that you picked off your tree that had been growing for 7 years, or you know, maybe there was a new plant, something new that you started growing you'd never grown before, and you didn't know how it was going to come out, and then you had a success with that. So, all of those kind of things can help you keep going, uh, to help overcome those discouraging times and things like that. And then seeing that produce on your plate, it's like, or a big bowl full of lettuce, or whatever's there, squash or something like that. It's like, hey, I got squash soup and that was from my garden, or something like that. um exactly, Patty, they are staged, most definitely. So um you had grapes in pots and brought it in the garage. Okay. So maybe your garage is a little bit, is yours a heated garage, or at least it's a good bit warmer than the outside though, right? See, my shed is not insulated or heated or anything, so it's like just as cold as it is outside. So that's where things. So yeah, in cold climates they need to be in soil. Thank you. Thanks, Patty. So lots of those people have garden helpers. Oh, so true, so true. Um, yep. So something else to help you with the gardening blues of July and August is to keep in mind to look forward to fall. It's like, okay, fall is just, it's literally like a month and a half, 2 months away, right? And so, well, we're July 17th, so 2 months away. Um, the weeds will die back. They won't be so prolific anymore. The pests will go away. The temperatures will cool off. Um, you will get to rest more. After harvest is done, there will be a time to rest. And then you can use winter to learn from your experiences, study how to improve the issues that you've dealt with. Again, the rewards of home gardening will never go away. It's not just a 1 or 2 year reward type of thing. They will always be there. So, and it's a garage under the dining room and adjacent to heated basement. Okay. So, yeah. So the inside of my shed gets to minus 30 or whatever the temperature is outside is what's inside, and sometimes it's even colder. So that's where um, my strawberry plants that I left in my green stock that I put inside the shed, they didn't survive that. So they needed something more than that. But um, in double digits for, oh, I hear you, Kiri. I can't do that. Seriously, it's like my brain cooks. you know, I was oh, I was singing in a choir yesterday at another church, and it was up in the choir loft, and it was like so hot up there, and I'm just like, my face is starting to turn red and flushed. It's like I'm cooking, and it was like, I mean, my brain. I think I came really close to heat exhaustion a couple times in the last 5 years, and so I think there's just like I don't have a tolerance for that anymore, and I just can't do it. So I have to be careful on hot days. We've actually had a pretty decent summer. We haven't had like a super hot summer this year, which has been a blessing. Um, so we're doing pretty good. Ready to start looking forward to fall? Yes, yes. Um, yeah, I hear you. Oh, I know. I just last night I had a friend from Louisiana texting me. She's always teasing me about how it's so much warmer there, and it's like, well, yeah, I know, and it's like, so I sent her a screenshot of our 10-day forecast. I said, at the end of the 10 days, it's supposed to be in 90 or something, and I said, see, so I'll be getting into Louisiana temps pretty soon here, and she was just laughing, and so she screenshot to me, and it was like the temperatures were all 95 to 100 degrees with 85 to 100% humidity and rain, rain, rain. I'm like, nope. No, I am not doing that anymore. It's like, nope, can't handle that. Uh, okay, Patty. So I totally get it. I totally get it. So if a huge walk up attic that's insanely hot. Oh, yeah. Um, are there any windows up there, Dave, that you can like even put in a window AC unit or something just to keep it a little cool in there? Or it's probably not worth it then, I imagine. Um, I so I know it's 7 o'clock and I have to get going, but two windows, one on each end. Okay, but if you want to turn into a room, you could put a unit up there. It's probably really cold in the winter then too. Um, you'd have to vent, I'm sure, up from for the furnace vents and stuff, or put in electrical baseboard units or something. Um, make it a walk-in dehydrator. I like that one. That's good. Yeah. Well, Kira, you're so used to dealing with higher temps too, so that your body is just it's there. But yeah, friend lives in Shreveport. She does that to me. Yeah. You Minnesota people, exactly. I know. It's like, well, it was 72 degrees today, and you were sitting at 100%, 120 heat index. So it's like, I'll take my 72, thanks. We can brag about the minus 40 in winter, that we can endure that. But anyway, I have a quick question for maybe Dave, you would know this. I was thinking about, because my shed I mean, really, I'm just storing stuff in there, but I would still like it to not be as hot in the summer and as cold in the winter. But if I were to line it with foam board, the ceiling and the walls and stuff, and just use liquid nails, just stick it up there and line it, would that help out? I was asking my son-in-law's dad is a contractor, and I asked him, I said, would that help out? Would that make a difference? And he goes, he said, maybe just a little. He said, it's not worth the money or anything. It's like, well, not really. It's not like, doesn't have electricity in it. So I'm not like trying to save energy or anything like that. But the sun beating on it in the summer, if I had that layer of insulation, I think that it would stay a little cooler in there. It's just like being in the shade of a big tree or something. So, um, you agree to which one? You agree to you agree with the contractor. Okay. Huh. Okay. So it wouldn't be worth doing that. Okay. Hmm. Because the metal roof and everything. So I was just thinking that because the heat. So, okay. It will slow the change in temp, but you still hit the same temp, but a little more gradual. Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. So, um, your brother in Texas said they'd never go outside unless they go to the store in summer when it's hot. Yeah, I hear you. So, all right, guys, I've gone a little bit over the hour, but if I was cooling it, it's 100% worth it. Okay. So it depends on what I end up doing down the line. Because, like I said, I have no electricity run out there or anything, and don't really plan on it. I mean, it would make a nice workshop area, and if I turned it into that, yeah, I would need to do something. But um, are there solar run air conditioning units? I could I could put a solar panel up there, and it's like, okay, let's run the AC here. But no, if I right now it's just storing stuff, really, just lawnmower and winter stuff and wood and different things like that. So, um, 12 at once for, oh, okay. Interesting. Huh. That I might have to look at. So, anyway, guys, you take care. Have a great week. It's like, I just hope everything goes well with you. Stay safe from any storms. Dave, I hope you guys dry out up there and everything. So, anyway, take care. God bless. Always have hope. And good night, Eli. Nice of you to show up here. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's so good to see you guys and have you all hanging out with me. So take care. Good night. Click the button.